Hey everyone, and welcome back to Remember This Tech. In today's episode, we're going to do a little bit more with the Dell XPS 2720 all-in-one PC touchscreen that I resurrected in this video a while back. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Today, we're going to check out specifically a few benchmarks on the 750M graphics processor that it has in here, which is not very powerful, but it does have the i7-4770 CPU in here and 16 gig of RAM. And I had upgraded the SSD and replaced the mechanical drive a while back in that video. And today we're going to try some basic gaming and see how it does. Had a 32 gig SSD in the system that I believe it used for caching and speed things up back when it had the hard drive. So I'm going to throw in a 256 gig NVMe drive that should fit there. We're going to see if we can format it and see if we can throw some games on there and maybe speed the system up a little bit, benchmark that as well, and see how it plays with that. We'll try some not so new games, of course, but we'll see what we can get to run and see if this thing is still a good daily driver, everyday performer, some of your older games, maybe some Half-Life 2. You never know. So come on along with me while I revisit this XPS 2720 all-in-one PC. Come on, let's go! So I had already re-thermal pasted the CPU and the GPU in the previous video. So I am not going to do that in this video, but rather I'm going to take off this back plate to get at the SSD. And there's a couple screws here that you had to remove. And then you just kind of move this out of the way. Oh, did I mention before, this entire thing is sharp as hell. Watch your damn fingers for your own safety. And this right here is sharp as hell. I already cut myself on that. So you have your memory here, 16 gig. Here is your Wi-Fi card, but down here, right there, you've got your SSD. And I'm going to remove this one. This is a Dell one. 32 gig is what this one is. Oops. And it's kind of useless, you know what I'm saying? You'll see the connector here. Okay. It's not your normal NVMe. Okay. And you have to order something like this one right here, which I was going to use for another project, but it's an mSATA SSD. And the specifications are mini serial ATA connection. It's tops out around 500 megabits per second. But you'll see this is the new one, and you'll see that they match, and hopefully that they will work. This new one, ORICO. It's 256 gigs, so we get a lot more space and storage. So let's see if it works. Slap it in, put the cover back, and then start up this system. And if it does work, we'll put some games on here from Steam and do a few benchmarks on this drive. And then we'll get to go and see what we can play on this system, whether or not we can play anything and how it looks. Now's a good time, if you haven't subscribed, to do so. If you're into content like this, fixing up old retro stuff, making it work in the modern day instead of throwing it out, give a thumbs up if you like this video. It really helps me out. Alright, let's put this back panel on and close this up. And as you can see over here, we have detected the hard drive. Wow. So we're going to set it up here, and obviously we have to do this so that we can get our Steam games on there. So go like this, and we're just gonna go whatever you want to call it, you know, and do quick format, and we are good to go. If you don't do that first, well, you can't put anything on there. And next we're gonna just do a quick test of this drive. So we got 532 megabits per second read and 495 write, and the 4K write is pretty nice, not bad, and these numbers aren't too bad either. And I threw in my Gigabyte Eagle AX motherboard, the B650, into its new case, the flashy Zalman i3 Neo, and I'm going
Not your lucky day.
I'm going to try something kind of dumb, maybe interesting. I'm going to try to play Company of Heroes 3 on this system, 1080p with low settings. It won't work. It hates me. It hates me. But maybe we can still get to play. It's actually going to launch. Oh, wow. It's not guaranteed it's gonna play, but maybe it will. All right, this is gonna be fun. I mean, all right, let's set the settings. And what do we have here? 1080p. Let's limit it to 60 FPS. That's fine. Okay, no VSync. Image quality is the minimum. That's acceptable. I mean, what do you expect? Hey, if we can play, this is gonna be amazing. It's not that bad. I mean, so far. All right. You know, we might have to put it down to 720p just because, you know, playing a game like this is rough.
Rifleman squad deployed.
Look at that, we're almost maximum memory usage. The CPU is not doing anything. Oh, we're using a lot of RAM though, so. .720p, 60 FPS capped, full screen, minimum image quality. So now we're getting 29 FPS. Not bad.
Medical station orders have been carried out.
We're getting hammered. We're getting killed here.
Orders just came down.
Territory sector claimed by the enemy.
Getting destroyed. I need more troops.
Riflemen are ready. Riflemen reporting, Commander.
Fresh boats. All right, boys. Advance and stay alert.
Yes, I'm hiding out. I don't have any troops. I'm reinforcing the guys that got beat up before. Alright, well, let's send these guys out.
Orders coming in. Secure that ground.
Like a
Well, my final thoughts about the Dell XPS 2720 all-in-one 27-inch 1440p screen PC. It's got a i7 4770 CPU, 16 gig RAM. I upgraded in the previous video the operating system disk to an SSD. In this one, I put in a 256 gig an SSD into the slot where the other solid state drive was. You can use this for an everyday driver if you want. It can play back 1440p YouTube without any stutters. The Wi-Fi connection gives you plenty of bandwidth. The screen being a touch screen is a huge bonus, and it still works. It looks great. Keep in mind that if you're still running Windows 10, you might have to consider switching over to Linux or pay for that extended support for Windows 10, as it's not technically going to support Windows 11, but there are some workarounds still using Rufus and other means. You can definitely use this as a daily driver. The screen looks beautiful. Let's get into this. Drawbacks. It's heavy. It is heavy since it's all steel and it's got the stand built into it. There's a number of different ways it can tilt and whatever, but it's heavy. You can't get around that. It's pretty much stationary wherever you put it. Other drawback is if you're playing games, keep your expectations at a minimum, a low minimum. You can play some games like Borderlands 2, played awesome. A few other games like the older ones, BioShock 2 remastered, Half-Life 2 with the upgraded graphics pack, looks great. Oh, no problem. 100 FPS plus, but of course, you know, you only have a 2 gig 750M graphics chip in there, the GPU. You're not gonna win any gaming awards, but that's not what this system's for. What it's about is if you have one of these systems, it looks great, and you still want to squeeze some more life out of there, I'm showing you what you can expect. You can play Company of Heroes 3, but it's something you have to really put the eye candy down, and it could be a stutter fest. If you're playing competition, don't forget about it. Just set your players to low for your opponents, and your little stuttering here and there, you might not die too bad. But I was surprised it even played it. It threw up an error saying, I'm not going to play, graphics driver's too old and whatever, but it played. Yeah, and even if you switched over to Linux, plenty of Windows games can run with Proton Experimental, so you're still going to be okay with that. I did put in a new power supply in this unit. The other ones, they're not being made anymore. I bought a aftermarket one. It costs about 80 bucks. That is steep, but if you consider the price of a new PC and you want to just revive your old XPS 2720, might be worth it to you. So hopefully you enjoyed this video and checking out this old XPS Dell that you still might have out there, some of you, and seeing what games it can play. And I just showed you it can work as a daily driver. So thanks for coming along with me on this nostalgic kind of revival project, and thanks for watching. Remember this tech.